Whether you keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs, these are the creatures that bring us all together.
Reptiles. We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast. What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Turgeon from Brassman Reptiles.
And I'm Rob, and I'm keeping it real.
So, episode 19.
Boom.
We're talking about something that's exciting and always frustrating, the upcoming breeding season.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. I went a little too crazy last year, and I bred too many freaking things. So this season, I'm trying to not do that. I'm going to try and breed less things this upcoming season.
And I'm literally doing the exact opposite because I had a terrible season this season, having to move my snake room around so many times. So I'm trying to breed everything that I can to get as many babies as possible and then cry about it later.
I am so here for it, though. This
gosh.
past season, I definitely was like, I'll pair up some stuff, and that's cool and everything. And I started seeing ovulations. I'm like, oh, she ovulated. Oh, my God, she ovulated too. Oh, my God, it's another ovulation. What the hell is going on right now? I didn't want this many babies, which has led to too many holdbacks. I mean, not too many holdbacks, but too many holdbacks. I was hoping, I was like, I'll just sell everything. And then I saw the babies sticking out, and I was like, oh, these are mine. Nobody else gets them. They're
Dude, when
mine.
you said the other day I've got like about 10 or so holdbacks, I was like, no, Rob, let's rewind about 2.5, maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I heard you say, I only want to
holdbacks.
keep 1 or 2, and then
Out
I'm
of each
selling
clutch.
everything else. Now suddenly I'm going to sell 1 or 2 and keep everything else in the
but
clutch.
they're so cool.
They are. I'm not denying that at all. But somebody didn't hold true to their original statement.
That's fair. That's fair. I will own the credit on that one.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, when I started seeing some of the stuff that I was hatching out, that's the problem with Borneos. They're so variable that there's so many different looks, and I can appreciate something in almost every single one of the snakes that I produce this season. I'm just like, oh, that could go in a cool project. That could go in a cool project. So I've got, certain animals that I think fit together well that I've hatched out this season. I'm like, that animal would go really well with this animal. And then I've got ones that I'm like, I just really like the way this looks. I know that down the road I can do something cool with it. And that is something that I feel like a lot of people need to think about if they do want to get into Borneos, because it's not just like I paired a T-positive albino with a het T-positive albino, and I'm going to produce T-positive albinos and hets. It's like you have to have a vision for something and then work towards that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm excited to breed Borneos, but also scared as hell.
Why?
Because the number of holdbacks. I'm already like, I
fair.
already have enough holdbacks from this one ball python clutch that I produced. Not even thinking about the next one that's due for me in a week and a half. And it started with, I know I want to keep a female GHI leopard pastel. I knew if I could get a female out of that, I was good.
Yeah.
Then it became, there's this crazy-ass paradox coral glow male. I'm going to keep that.
Which, in all fairness, is a really cool paradox.
It is a really cool paradox. But then it was, okay, well, I'm going to sex these babies out and, figure things out. And then I'm like, oh, is that a female coral glow pos double het hypopide?
Yeah, I'll keep that, too.
I think she might stay as well. So now, basically, the clutch has become half holdbacks, half available. Not what I planned at all. And potentially, depending on what's in the next clutch, which was Coral Glow Leopard, Double Head Hypopide, and Microscale bred to Pastel Hidden Gymnoma Granite Fader. There, there could be a few more holdbacks.
I sense in the future that
I'm
there's
just
going
saying.
to be holdbacks.
Yeah, maybe holdbacks. Look, I'm certainly not going to complain if I get another female Coral Glow.
True.
I will not complain about that because they're still pretty sought after as
Hidden
far as coral
Gymnoma
glows. Exactly. Hidden Gymnoma leopard coral glow.
Ooh, that would be
Fader.
freaking cool.
Fader.
I'm
Can't
with it.
forget the fake fader gene, So I'm excited about that, but also horrified about that because it's literally what also happened last year too. Was like, here's this parent. Oh, those are nice. Let's keep. That's a female. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I'll
gonna
keep
keep that. Yeah.
If it's a girl, what's the harm in holding on to it for a year or so?
Yeah, it's like, oh, that
Price
male
only
has.
goes up.
It's true. Yeah, I guess. Or it barely goes up, like my friggin' Lemon Blast hat clown.
True.
Oof.
That was a boy though.
It was a boy, but to know that the value of that animal
Stayed exactly the same.
hardly changed from hatchling to adult, and I was like, oh, I am sad.
Yeah. For real.
But yeah, so I'm excited. I'm super excited to breed Borneos and potentially blood pythons. I might be doing a split clutch on some blood pythons, so that should be cool. But I am really excited about some carpet python stuff.
Ooh.
So
You got to tell me what you're planning for carpet python.
Okay, so first off, finally going to be pairing the het stonewash brettles this season. So hopefully, fingers crossed for that, the stonewash brettles. Then I'm doing, I don't even know if I want to say that on mic, but I will for the 4 people who will listen. Yeah, no. I want to do my Azantic coastal to one of my ocelot jags.
Yeah.
So I want to go for the Azantic ocelot jags.
Yeah. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, so I'm not thrilled about increasing the amount of coastal blood in the animal, but I am happy because my Azanthics are pure coastals from Paul Harris lineage, so
cool.
like it's all documented, so I know exactly what'll be going on. So I'm happy about that. At least I'm not throwing all these mutts together and then being like, I don't know, it's just a carpet python now. Yep. It's $40. So I am excited about that because I keep looking at that one super extreme ocelot jag that I have. And I'm like, imagine that in black and white. Yeah, that would be pretty
so
badass.
Freaking cool.
So I'm excited about that. I'm again gonna try for the double het snows.
Yes.
I'm so mad that my albino reabsorbed. It's 2 years in a row.
Ouch.
Now the first year, I think the male was just too young because I didn't even see any locks. And I was just like, he's small, but maybe he'll go, and he didn't go. And then this year, I saw the locks. And she was like, nah, bro. Yeah. I'm good. And I was like, oh, my God. Like,
not you. You're the one that was supposed to go.
Yeah, you could save my season.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah. And nothing happened. So hopefully, one more time, we're going to go for the double het snows. And then if something happens, I'm just going to fucking buy one. God. Jesus, I'm dying over here. But so that'll be a fun project. And then... for just like a lower end thing, I think I'm gonna throw my zebra to my tiger jag, just for some interesting stuff. Zebra tiger doesn't really.
I was gonna say I don't think I've seen a zebra tiger.
Yeah, I don't even know what will honestly come out because I cannot find the picture of the parents that produced my tiger jag. I used to have them. I can't find them anywhere, so I don't recall the amount of striping that's kind of happening in that lineage. But we'll have to wait and see. So it could make some badass looking tiger zebra thingies. It could make some normal looking zebras with a bizarre stripe-ish pattern. I don't know what will happen.
It would be really cool if it had a yellow stripe down the back and then just like zigzaggy pattern all down the sides. That would look really cool.
That's what happens when you breed a lot of Borneos. You start thinking about the shit.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm excited about that. I'm super excited because my Super Tiger Orange Ghost Stripe retic is finally of age.
Damn.
From raising up her parents to breeding them and then getting her and now finally having her ready to go. I'm so stoked.
Do you have a male in mind for her?
I do. She's going to my platinum marble.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So everything will be tiger. 100% het OGS at a minimum, which is fine with me. And then I'm hoping to hold back
platinum
just
marble.
a male platinum marble tiger, 100% het OGS. So if we can hit one, I'm crushing it.
Boom.
That's all I care about. One male. That's all I care about. Just one.
Just to put back to her.
Please, one Yeah, just to put back to her. My goal really is marble OGS, but the other genes in the mix are just going to make it even cooler, and give you some more options. So I'm excited about that, and the fact that I need a male means I don't need to wait 3 years.
True.
So I'm also very good with that. And then that project is going to end up going into my Indo line caramel stuff. So that's going to be a fun project. I'm going mentally trying to go through my snake room and see what's happening. Ball pythons.
Ball pythons.
There's a lot of cool ball pythons actually that should go this year. I am very excited about one pairing in particular. Coral Glow Leopard Mojave Hypo male breeding to a Spot Nose Inferno Het Hypo female. So Spot Nose Pastel Hidden Chihuahua Granite Goblin, so fancy yellow belly.
Yep.
Ralph Davis's line of yellow belly, and then Het Hypo. So yeah, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit that we can do with that. So I'm looking forward to that. That clutch will probably all be holdbacks. But I'm not mad about it at all.
I mean, you did just get a pretty cool snake in from O'Malley's.
I did. Shout out to the bro Matt over at O'Malley's Morphs for hitting me with this female super spot nose lemon blast Enchi possible. I'm saying probable red stripe.
I think it's bonkers.
It's silly. I was talking with Pete Call last night, and we were talking about a bunch of different stuff. We were talking about ball pythons a little bit, and I sent him a picture, and he was like, "That thing's fucking weird, dude." And I was like, "Yeah." Pete Call said I have weird balls.
I don't know if that's a good thing. This reminds me of Daytona.
They shit in the pizza box.
There's cool shit in that box, man.
Oh God. No. Oof. Oh man. If you know, you know. If you don't, sorry.
Yeah.
But that I'm excited about that too, because that's a female. So by the time she's ready to go, I'll have some super crazy stuff to throw to it if all goes according to plan. I'm also going to try to do some triple het albino clown pieds. That should be pretty cool. I'm taking my pin EMG clown and breeding that to my albino pied female. So it'll just be normals and pins, 100% triple het. And EMGs, yeah. 100% triple het. So most of that'll all be holdbacks. All the females will be holdbacks, and I'll probably just hold back one male.
Yep.
Since it's all 100% het, no guessing there.
I love clown pieds.
Yeah.
They're just such a cool looking morph.
Yeah.
Combo, whatever.
Yeah. The my buddy Pete. I never remember how to pronounce his last name, but he is usually always helping out at Komodo. He just produced 3 albino clowns. I think it was from a double het to a double het.
Wow.
And got 3 albino clowns.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, you fucking crushed that.
Yeah, he rolled the dice on that one.
Yeah.
He won.
But he won. Yeah, he won big on that. And I was like, dude, that's pretty badass.
Awesome.
So I'm hoping I can get but a sliver of that luckiness and get the triple recessive. And then it's all mine, the holdbacks. So that should be an interesting pairing. I'm trying to think about what else. My micro scale male is being a jerk. I used him as a backup because he's on the smaller side, so I just used him as a backup with those 2 girls that bred to the Coral Glow Leopard.
Yeah.
And obviously didn't hit the Pastel GHI. And I don't know if he hit the Pastel Hidden Chihuahua Granite Fader. I'll find out when I cut those eggs. But if he didn't, no big deal. The problem is he got annihilated by a rat. And his face got all gnarly and everything, and it's healing, and it looks great, but he hasn't eaten, and he's been dropping weight. So I'm like, this kind of sucks. I haven't had this happen in a long ass time, but it usually doesn't end all that great. So fingers crossed that he decides to eat, and then he'll be in rotation with a few different girls next year. If not, the only saving grace is I have 2 microscale females that'll be ready in the fall. So I can still, I was hoping to be able to do some scaleless stuff, but at the very least I can still do the microscale stuff. So yeah.
Those would be really cool, though.
Those will be super cool. And then one more year for colubrids. So not this season, but the season
Next
after
season.
Will be kind of colubrid crazy with king snakes and corn snakes and Jani and who knows what else.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. Especially because Tim produced another one of those crazy aberrant.
Really?
Yeah, from the same pairing and everything. So I'm thinking that it's a recessive thing because it's happened numerous times from that same pairing, and I think this year he did one other arrangement of it to try to prove it out, and I'm blanking on how it was. It was like father to daughter or something like that, and it happened. So I'm like, okay, so we're on to something. It's not just a random sporadic
occurrence,
whatever, but it is very variable in appearance.
Really?
Because the one that I have is like, I mean, you've seen it, is like saddle, and then blah, like totally blotched out.
Zigzaggy.
This is like mini saddle, crazy pixelation, mini saddle, crazy pixelation. It's very, very interesting looking. And of course, baby North Mexican pines, that's what we're talking about, look like very ugly brown worms right out of the egg. So he sent me a picture, and I was like, the hell is that? Because I didn't know that those were anywhere close to hatching for him. So I'm like, the hell is, I mean, it's cool looking, but what the fuck is it? And he was like, it's another one of those crazy Jani. And I was like, shit,
damn,
what?
that's fucking cool.
Yeah. And then I just saw patternless Jani the other day, and I was like, please be an actual morph. Like, please be an actual morph, because I will 100% buy those.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I am excited to get my colubrid game going back again.
See, I've never really, I mean, I've bred hognose snakes, but I've never been big on colubrids, and I like my tiger rat snakes, but I've not hopped in heavy on any of the colubrid stuff until now, and now I've got 4 corn snakes, and I'm like, I just really like these things. I think they're cool, man. Most of the ones that I've got are growing really, really fast. The first male that I got is growing a little slow. I don't know what his issue is, but like he only takes like a little tiny pinkies. Everybody else is like onto fuzzies now and like growing like weeds. I don't know. He's just slow.
He's being weird.
He's just being slow. And then I'm actually trying to breed the tiger rat snakes. I gotta do some cycling with them. I gotta cycle out or pull my male and feed both of them kind of heavy over the next 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks or so. And then I'm going to do a little bit of cycling for temperature for a little while, and then I'm going to try and pair those up because I would love to hatch out little tiger rat snakes again. They're so cool.
That would be badass. They're
so awesome, and the adults are just cool, and then the babies are like these little feisty, rattling their tails, striking at you like they're monsters, and I'm like, you're 10 inches long, chill out.
He's like, but I'm a mean 10 inches
Yeah,
long.
I've heard that one before. They're so cool though. They're like all dark, and the male that I've got is actually my friend Hannah's, and he's got like super reduced kind of pattern to him, and the female that I've got has got lots and lots of black on her, so it's kind of a little bit different than a lot of people who are going with the high yellow spilotes. So I'm hoping that if I can get them to reproduce, that I'll have some nice dark looking spilotes. And there's no such thing as too many spilotes, you know? There's no such thing. No.
Really?
There probably is, but
I have a feeling that there maybe could be.
I don't think that in the current situation of how things are going right now, that I could have too many spilotes.
That's okay. That's fair. That's
maybe
fair.
If I had 3 clutches of them on the ground, I'd be like, okay, now I got enough spilotes.
And then you'll be like, I could use another one.
I'll sell a couple and then I'll buy some more.
Yeah, because that's kind of what it's all about. You hold back everything until you finally need some new blood, and then you're like, okay,
See, I don't even know if I'm going to try and breed the corn snakes. I just really like them. I thought about it and I was like, if I got to the point where I was doing a lot of my own sales on this, like outside of nerd stuff, it would be cool to have stuff that I can just sell to anyone and not have to grill them about, do you like hybrids? Are you what are you planning on keeping the snake in? Blah 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 and all this stuff. Baby corn snake, once it gets eating large pink size, you can do whatever the hell you want to it.
Pretty much,
and
yeah,
it's gonna
rock
do
solid.
great.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about it, wrecking someone. Where if I ever produce scrubs, I'm gonna be like, look, I have to come to your house. I got to do a sit-in. I'm gonna hang out with you for a week. I got to get a feel for your vibe before you buy.
Please take this 5-page adoption application.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got to do a credit check and everything.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Just kidding.
Kind of. Yeah. I was like, no, are you though?
I don't know. I feel so strongly about how, advanced scrubs are that I just feel like anyone who gets one, they really have to respect it. Yeah, especially if they're going to get it from me, they better fucking respect that animal, man. And not to say that you're not going to respect a corn snake, but I'm okay with people kind of getting their bearings and, getting a feel for it with corn snakes. And with scrubs, I'm definitely going to be a lot more critical.
That's fair. I feel like, especially now, as in the social media world kind of dictates certain trends.
Oh yeah.
And things like scrub pythons are certainly becoming a little
way more popular
and coming into the spotlight a little bit more. So I feel like people are, taking that interest, but are also 100% unaware of the
full scope.
The full scope of what a big ass scrub can do to you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They definitely can mess you up. And if you are coming into it, like, I see a lot of people that get reticulated pythons, they're like, I just thought it was pretty and I just wanted to get it. And it's like, okay, but do you have a full grasp on how potentially, I don't want to say dangerous, but how dangerous this animal can be? I mean, lots of animals can be dangerous, and a big reticulated python or a big scrub could potentially be a serious bite to you or to whoever is working with you. And if you don't respect that animal, you could get seriously hurt. And I feel like it's not as big with scrubs right now because scrubs have always had that really nasty reputation of like, don't touch them, they'll kill you, blah, blah, blah. They'll go right for your face. And so it's put a lot of people off of keeping scrub pythons. But I feel like as reticulated pythons have been more captive bred, people are like, oh, they're friendly. So they just like, I'll just buy one. It's my second snake. I'll buy a retic. Who cares?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you really should be putting more thought into it than that.
My favorite thing is, well, I have like a ball python. I just want to get a retic.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, look. I know your retic is smarter than your ball python. Do you know your retic is smarter than your ball python?
Is a lot smarter than your ball python.
Are you smarter than your ball python?
Yeah, seriously. Seriously, though. They're like, but I know how to handle my ball python. It still blows my mind how many people I will hand a ball python to and then watch them handle it so inappropriately. Like flip it on their back.
Yeah.
Ugh. That shit blows my mind. I'm like, oh, if you did that to a blood, you would have been bit right now. Annihilated. You do that to a scrub, that's it. It's coming for your face. And they're like, what do you mean? That's just how I hold it. And I'm like, no. No. You are not grasping. You are having an interaction with a sentient being. Yeah. It is an animal that is thinking while you're thinking. And they're like, yeah, but it's friendly. And I'm like, like Savannah was saying, you don't understand the terms of the relationship that you've got with that animal.
Right.
Some animals might be super laid back and they're just like kind of pushovers and everything's cool. But you don't know when you cross that line, and if they're going to let you know. If a ball python lets you know, okay, it's a little tack. If a 10-foot scrub python lets you know, it is going to be something else.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be something else.
Just ask the side of Garrett Hartle's face.
And that one was only like 8 foot, 7 or 8 foot.
Yeah. Oof. Oof. Shout out to you, Garrett.
Yeah, I had that happen to me with my Jayapura. It wasn't as bad as his bite, but when I had first got her in, when she first got shipped in, I pulled her out of the bag and she was like curled up tight like a ball python. And I was like, what the hell? And you could tell she was stressed out, not feeling great, and very scared. And so I took her, I kind of unwrapped a little bit and then kind of let her sit in my hand. And she started to unwind. And as she's unwinding, she's wrapping her tail around my hand. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. She's anchoring herself. She's feeling a little more secure. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of holding her at eye height, just like inspecting her, making sure that she doesn't have any cuts on her or anything obvious that I should be, concerned about. And as I'm holding her at about eye height, her head tilts right, like that keen, you see a snake looking like it's going to bite you. And it just turned her head right at my face. And I was like, oh no, this is a 5 foot long scrub python, 2.5 feet from my face. This is not good. And so I turned my head down towards the ground and I just was like, just not the face. And so I can feel her tensing on my hand and I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad. And so I'm just holding her as far away from my face as I can get her.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen immediately. She just sat there tense for a second, just kind of squaring up. And then boom, she she hit the top of my ear.
Oof.
She didn't hold on, but she just gave a quick little strike and then back to a tight coil, just curled up in an S position. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go put you down now.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, I think she bit me, but I didn't really. And I felt the blood going down the side of my ear. And I was oh, shit.
She got me. She got me.
Yeah, so that's how she got the name the phlebotomist, because she knows how to draw blood.
Dude. One of the more recent bites that I got, it was still probably a few months ago, but it was from probably my 4-foot Brettles.
Ooh, I remember that.
Dude. So not happy about that bite. I forgot who was here. There were a couple people here and taking pictures of it, whatever. And I grab her so I can get a picture, and she gets real tight. And I was like, "Oh,
here it comes.
Here we go." Now, preface this with Brettles are usually pretty laid back and pretty docile, but just like most other Morelia, when they're hungry, they're hungry. So she grabs me right in the freaking fingertips and is already wrapped. And I'm like, oh, my God. And I already know I'm yelling fuck! I know this is just not wonderful. And it took me a second to finally fucking get her off. And she was like, I need to get more. And it was I was like, I have 30 seconds to get this snake off me before I get pierced again. And that, dude, big carpet python bites, especially on the fingertips. Fuck.
No, thank you.
Oh my gosh, not fun. But I will say, still way better than the bite Crispy took to the inner elbow by my 7-foot tiger jag. Yeah.
Oof.
Shout out to you, Crispy.
That hurts just thinking about it.
Dude, I think it hurt based on the squeal he let out when it actually happened.
No, thank you. No, thank you at all.
I'm look, man, I've been nailed by my platinum marble, just like a defensive bite, not a feed bite.
Yep.
And that hurt, obviously, because that was also right on the hand. But I would still rather take that than a bite to the inner elbow by a big ass carpet python.
And constricted.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fun. There is, for those who don't know or are unaware, there's a big difference between a defensive strike or a defensive bite and a feed bite.
Yes.
When they've locked onto you for food, they don't want to let you go.
Yeah, when they mistake you for food, it's bad. Usually they're like, I need to kill this thing. And if they've bitten your hand, they're going to now constrict your hand and your arm. And they're just going to be like, I need to make sure that there's no pulse in this. But, they're not stopping your heart. So your body's pulsing. And they can feel that through their coil. So they're just like, squeeze tighter, bite harder. And you're just like,
and
oh,
you're like, please stop. This is not fun for either of us.
Yeah. But a quick defensive bite is just hey, leave me alone. It's
no big deal.
Usually not that big a deal.
Like that ball python that grabbed Kev.
That was a feeding bite.
Dude, he was like, we're all laughing about it, and he's like, no, dude, feel this. This thing really is trying to kill me. And it was on him. And I was like,
its muscles were tight.
Dude, you better give in, dude.
Just lay on the ground. It's got to lay down next to you to size you up.
Exactly.
The 8.5-inch long ball python.
Against the 6'4" McCurley. It'll work.
hey man, I know somebody whose brother's sister's cousin had a boa and it would lay down in the bed next to him to see if it was small enough to eat him. Raise your hand if you ever heard of that one before, because I hear it twice a week.
Yeah.
Customers.
Oh boy.
Customers.
My favorite is hearing that it was coming from a vet.
Ooh,
that said
that's
that.
bad.
I've heard that story multiple times, but many a times it's been the vet.
They should lose their license if they say that.
I know, that's why I'm like, but what vet though?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that. And it's like, okay, good, because if you actually knew the name of a practicing veterinarian that said that,
we need to blast them.
You're going down.
Yeah, yeah, brother.
Oh my gosh. So what? So I know you were really hoping for potentially to get scrubs.
Yes.
This year.
Yeah. And
so is that going to be like your focus?
That's going to be
for the next season.
Next season is going to be just trying to get, because I'll have Janet will be plenty big enough and old enough.
Mm-hmm.
My other sarong female, who's a wild caught female, is plenty big enough.
Mm-hmm.
She's only maybe 6 inches behind Janet. She's easily 9 feet, like 9.5 foot.
Yep.
So I'm gonna try her. I'm gonna try Janet. I got 2 male captive bred Prada line Barnecks. So I'm gonna try those. That's gonna be pretty much my main focus.
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna try and breed my ball python.
Yeah.
I have a bumblebee ball python, and I really want to breed it to something that's got calico to make calico bumblebees, because I just love how high white the sides are on them. So I just want to do that and try and scrubs and a ball python. And then I'm going to try and do the marble to marble Borneos again. Really hoping that I get better odds on sexes this time, because that clutch was 5 females and 9 males.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. So I've got like 7 males and 2 females, because it's a split clutch with Dan Magano. So he got 3 girls, I got 2 girls. Ugh.
And then all those boys.
So
the Dan curse.
it really is. It was bad. It was really bad. The marble to granite stripes head ultra, we got better ratios on sex. But that marble clutch, man, we got slaughtered. And that's the one clutch where I was like, I wish that it was all girls. I wish it was all girls, because that marble clutch, there's so many cool looks in there. My marble female is just like so nice. She's got all this crazy like orange blushing down her back, and she's got really nice black and white sides, nice red on her face, nice like light yellow orange head. She's just like an amazing snake all around. It's hard to beat like a marble that nice.
Yeah.
And then she bred to like Dan Magano's marble male, and he's kind of like more your standard marble. He doesn't have as much of the crazy blushing, but a lot of the babies came out with that like crazy blushed out backs and the nice, marbling up the sides. So we're just like super pumped about that clutch.
Hell yeah.
Gonna try and do that one again this season and hope for more females so I can hold some back and then maybe let go of female. One, maybe.
Just one.
Probably not, but
Just
maybe.
one. Yeah.
That's everyone who saw that clutch. They were like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy a female." And I was like, "Well, guess what? Dan's keeping all his females, and I'm keeping all mine. I only got 2 females, and I hate to say it, but they're more valuable in my hands than most other people's hands.
Fair enough.
Because I'll be able to breed them and make more, and then when I make more, then you can buy some.
Yeah. So we already know you can obviously breed short tails.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, if you hatch baby scrubs,
yes,
but you don't hatch baby ball pythons,
that'd be really funny. Funny.
I don't know how I feel about that, Rob. I'd look at you very differently as a reptile keeper.
So I've bred a lot of stuff before, working in the various places that I've worked. And working with the different collections that I've worked with. With Jason Chapman up in Maine, we bred, because I was like basically running a lot of the breeding, him and I were coordinating, but I did a lot of the pairing, a lot of the cleaning, all that stuff. So I did a lot of the breeding we produced like Amazon tree boas, we did hognose snakes, we did ball pythons, we did Sumatran short-tailed pythons, we did Borneo short-tailed pythons. I think we did we did blood pythons too. I bred the Chinese water dragons up there and produced Chinese water dragons. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I bred while I was up there. and Colombian boas. I don't know if I said those, but Colombian boas, I bred those too. And then coming to Nerd and working and, focusing on the stuff that I'm focused on breeding. I've bred Borneo short-tailed pythons. I've bred Amazon tree boas. I've bred Argus monitors there. I bred water monitors at Nerd. I've worked in breeding. What else? I can't even think of the other things. A bunch of different stuff. I've worked on breeding a lot of different things. And it's like the most recent stuff that I've produced has been Borneos and my carpet pythons. Oh, yeah, I bred carpet pythons too while I was in Maine. But, for a while, it's just been breeding other people's stuff. It hasn't been breeding my own stuff because I've just been so focused on the work that I'm doing at work. I haven't been really focused on most of my stuff, and I've just been slowly raising up my stuff, trying to make it so that all my stuff's super healthy when it breeds.
Yeah.
So now being able to breed my own stuff and focusing on breeding my own stuff, it's definitely made me more in tune with my animals, as opposed to, I'm usually pretty on top of, watching who's eating and who's, acting weird and doing whatever. But as I'm focusing on breeding them, you definitely have to tune into the little things that are different. Because with the scrub pythons, I thought Janet was going to go this season. Like, I saw all these signs where she looks like she's getting big follicles. I ultrasounded her. She's got big follicles that look like they're going towards eggs. I see what it looks like, ovulations. And then she goes through a shed cycle. I'm like, okay, counting down the days to when she would theoretically be laying eggs. And then she went into shed again. And I'm like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. And then I offered her food like right before she went into shed, and she ate. And I was like, you're not supposed to do that either. So I don't know what's going on. Even with the ultrasound, I was like, wow, those are like 38 millimeter follicles. Those should pretty much be eggs. And then I was like, oh, she was going into shed again. This doesn't make any sense. I don't know. So that's something that keeps my interest, though, because I've bred Borneos and blood pythons a bunch of times. I know how to do it. I've bred the carpet pythons a couple times. I know how to do it for the most part. Not too much that's throwing me for a loop there. I've bred ball pythons. It doesn't really throw me for a loop there. Although I paired up the ball python once last season to see if she would go. I didn't really focus on it, but I did. I think Dan paired her up, my bumblebee, to a yellow belly calico pastel coffee male or something like that. I can't remember what he is, but it's something with calico in it, because I was like, Dan, if you put anything with this snake, it has to be calico. Yeah. I need a bumblebee calico out of that clutch. I'll keep one, and that's it. You can have all the rest of the babies. I don't care. I just need that bumblebee calico.
Yep.
Now just picture that, but in Xanthic.
Yes. With Orange Dream.
Ooh. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
That'd be super pretty.
That'd be pretty freaking crazy.
But, so, for last season, I definitely... I bred my West Papuan carpets. I bred the Borneos. I bred Emily's blood python. Got babies from the blood python. My red blood python that I paired up, I did not get good eggs out of because I literally did not focus on her. I focused on her for breeding for like a month, and then I was like, she's locked up 3 times. She's cool, and I just didn't pay attention. I just was like, just feed her until she does something. Yeah. So I didn't. She did something. Oh, she did something. She slugged out 24 slugs. Either 22 or 24 slugs. And so I was like, that sucks. I mean, I'm glad she passed them and everything, and we can focus on breeding her this upcoming season. Yeah. But and she's never something that like. I like red blood pythons, but they're not my main focus. They're not something that I'm like, I gotta do that thing. Right. I just like them. So Borneos are definitely more my focus, but I'm super excited because I'll have a couple more males coming on online this upcoming breeding season, and so I'm super excited about the potential pairings for that with the males that I've got. And then a couple of the girls that I'm raising right now are getting to that point where not this season, but maybe next season they'll be able to go, and that really has me geeked out. Dude. I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can do 2 seasons from now with the Borneos that I've got and that I'm raising, because it's going to be so cool. So cool. Yeah. I just have so many different ideas for where I want to go with them that I'm anxious to see how it actually pans out. Because this season, one of my big clutches that I'm like probably most proud of, I'm going to say it's my most proud of clutch, is my Blue Ghost clutch. So it's the Blue Ultra Granite male. So he's got 3 different genes at play right there. Bred to a girl that I produce working up in Maine with Jason, and she is the result of a VPI Ultra bred to a skunk line super stripe. So she visually shows off both the Ultra trait and the skunk line super stripe stuff. And the skunk line stuff has got like this really heavy black markings down the sides of them. And since it's from super stripe, it's got lots of striping in it. It's got weird like neck speckling. And that female bred to an ultra male kind of sees what you can do when you put it to the ultra and like bring more of the light colors out in it. And then next season, this upcoming season, I should have a male VPI super stripe that I've been raising, and he's got the neck speckling and the dark trait that I am saying is associated with that skunk line. So he's one that I've been raising for the last year and a half or so. And so I'm hoping that this upcoming season that he'll want to breed so that I can pair him to that same female to see what you do when you breed it back to the darker side of things.
Right.
To see how much more it pulls out of that black trait and really pumps in that striping, more of that striping. Because the blue ghost male wasn't like a crazy striped animal. There were striped ultras in that clutch and there were striped animals in that clutch, but not to the extent of breeding it to a full VPI super stripe that has the neck speckling, that's got the dark trait in it. So this first clutch was doubling down on the ultra side of things to get that light. And then this upcoming season, we're going to go dark and double down on that to see what happens when you pump that black back into it and see how much of the ultra is affected by that black trait to see really what happens. So
yeah, I'm super interested to see that. Hell yeah, dude. Then you're going to have holdbacks and
more
holdbacks and then like a handful for Jeremy.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, here, can you just raise this trio?
Please.
This trio right
I
here.
have a lot of holdbacks. Can you take these? Because I need space.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah, sure.
I'm just like super curious to see, because the mom is an equal half and half. Like you can tell that she's got ultra because she's light. You can tell she's got that black trait. And then, I don't know, just to compare and contrast, to see the full range, the full spectrum of where you can go from a full ultra, like the crystal one, where she's like pretty much patternless and she's got these little black spots down her side, like these ink blots down her sides.
Yeah.
To go from that extreme to the opposite of what I'm hoping will come out of breeding that black super stripe trait to that, to just get more of that black heavy color in there with a little bit of that ultra influence in there. I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like, because that excites me. And then the amount of variability that you get in Borneo clutches is just like, it's always going to be interesting.
Yeah, you could do that pairing multiple times and get crazy different shit every time.
Yeah, that's the good and the bad side of Borneos.
I was going to say, that's awesome, but also, fuck, when does it end?
Yeah. It's like that clutch, I was like, oh, I'm just going to like keep back maybe like 3 girls and like 1 boy. And then I was going through and looking at them as they're growing. And I'm like,
all of them.
I'm going to keep 9 animals out of that clutch. Oof. And yeah, it really is 9. I'm keeping 9 out of that clutch. And then there's going to be 7 that'll be for sale.
Oh, boy. Sheesh.
But they're so cool, and there's like different project stuff that I'm looking at, and I'm like, oh man, if I once I'm able to expand my reptile area a little bit more and really feel comfortable and breathe with growing these animals, I'm gonna have so much cool shit. I'm gonna be making some awesome Borneos.
So when you wonder why Rob is able to sell out in his first, week of posting things for sale, it's because he only posted 3 animals.
Yeah.
Everything else has been kept.
Right.
He's like, yeah, man, I sold out.
I sold out in 24 hours, bro.
Dude,
sorry.
I don't know what you're freaking waiting for. You should be posting more.
Oh, no. So I'm actually probably going to be posting some of those animals for sale here shortly. I personally like to wait until animals have taken 6 meals, 5 meals consecutively before I offer them for sale, just so I know that they're eating consistently and solidly before they go into any new environment that they might be in. So there's no guesswork. There's no, I don't know if it ate or it ate only a couple times. It's like, no, this animal has eaten a bunch of times, and a couple of them are starting to go into their first shed, which usually is like 2-3 months down the road, which for the blue ghost clutch, it's pretty much 2 months. We're at 2 months right about now. And then the other clutches are like a month and a half, I think, or around a month and a half. So they're getting right to that point where they're having their first shed, and after their first shed, those things take off. They just start crushing it, man. And I'm very curious to see how some of these clutches develop. Like that blue ghost clutch or the blue ultra clutch. I've seen siblings, or not half siblings. So the dad that fathered that clutch, I've seen some of the animals that have come from him paired to, because I bought him a year and a half ago. So after he was quarantined, then he bred. I've seen some babies that he produced before he came to me, and they are silly. They are so crazy colored, like blue. Just like so light gray, silver blue that I'm just like looking at the babies that are coming from this clutch, and I'm like, oh my God, when this thing sheds a couple times, it is going to be insane. Ridiculous. It's going to be so crazy colored. And that's why I'm like even hesitant to even want to sell these babies, because I know that as they shed the first couple times, they are going to go bonkers. They're going to be so freaking cool looking.
Yeah. I what's interesting is like, so the first Borneos that I had ever gotten was back in 20 from Matt Minatola, and it was a super striped Posset Ocelot and a G striped Posset Ocelot. So in general, I mean their colors stay pretty consistent, for what it is. And then I got that VPI Ultra from Nick Martini, but she was already like a little larger, so she had gone through the vast majority of her color change by the time I got her. And now she's just like gotten lighter, which is cool to see. But the most drastic change that I've been seeing is that Ocelot Ghost thing that I got from Matt Minatola that like already looked badass when Matt sent me the pictures, and as it's shedding, I'm watching like more orange come into it and all this stuff, and like every once in a while I'll shoot Matt a picture of it and be like, I shouldn't have sold you that. I'm like,
yeah, it's mine now, sorry. I'll send you back a baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like literally with every shed, I'm like, I have to stare at it. I want to compare. Like I almost want to do like comparison pictures after every shed and just look at that progression, because I'm like, this thing is going to be so fucking nuts.
Yes.
By the time it's 2.5, 3 foot.
Oh my goodness.
Like, oh my God. So I know the first time I breed that, those babies aren't going anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Those babies aren't going any freaking where.
Just send a pair to Rob.
Yeah. Hey, I see all of your holdbacks, and I'm grateful that you let me take some. Here's my holdbacks. Please take some of mine.
More Borneos. I can't twist. Don't twist my arm.
Oh, please. You have to convince me so much. Oh, no.
Dude.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's one of the things that's kind of worked against Borneos. From the get-go, is that they don't always look as nice as babies. I mean, that's all short tails, really. They don't really look as nice as babies as they do at a year or 2 or 3 years old.
Yep.
So as a baby, it's tougher to kind of, say, hey, look, this is going to get better. You just have to kind of trust the process. You have to trust me. You have to trust the process that this thing's going to end up looking cooler. And when it's kind of flip-flop from ball pythons, because ball pythons, when they hatch out of the egg, they're the coolest they're ever going to look in their life.
Yeah.
And so it's really easy to be like, oh, wow, Pastel Highway, I want to buy that thing. It's white and purple and yellow.
Yep.
And it looks really cool when it's a baby. And then I looked up pictures of what they look like when they're bigger, and they're pretty much white.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it has no purple left once it gets to be adult
like,
size. And it's like, oh, crap. But you've already sold it at that point. You don't have to.
Yeah. You're good.
You've got the money.
You're good. Yeah, exactly.
As ball python people would say.
Get the money and run.
Yeah. But with Borneos and Bloods and short tails and even carpets, when they're born, they're the ugliest they're ever going to look. They're just like, wow, I don't know why I bred this thing. And then you're looking at it after a shed or 2 sheds, and you're like, Oh.
I know why.
And then you
it.
see a year later, and you're like, that's why I produced that thing. That thing's
Yeah.
crazy. But people are so impatient. They don't want to wait. They don't want to, they want that instant gratification. They open up the box and it blows their mind, which can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand that as they grow and as they change, it's going to,
it's
be
going to
different.
change. Yeah. And you know what's interesting is there's actually quite a few animals that happens to. Like to think a little bit broader spectrum species wise, like even just corn snakes, baby corn snakes. Like I think about like a nice albino corn snake is pretty red.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, like that's a red snake. Let it like triple in size from a hatchling and let the oranges really start to flood in. You start to see more of the contrast and you're like, whoa, this thing's a little cooler than I thought it was going to be. And then it gets bigger and all the yellows and all the extra coloration has come in as it's matured. And you're like, this is not the same snake that I got 2.5 years ago. You know what I mean? And I know you're seeing that with the Okeetees.
Okeetees, I was just about to say that. Those Okeetees, when I got them in, they were like brown and they had like a little bit of red in the saddles. And I was like, wow, okay. I was like expecting.
It's a little underwhelming.
It's underwhelming. And then now that they've had 2 or 3 sheds here, they're like really pumping in that orange, and I'm like, oh my god, that's why I got this thing. These things are starting to look really freaking cool.
Yep.
And I just know that they still have a little bit of brown in them, so as they are going, that's just gonna fall away and away and away. It's just gonna get nicer and nicer and nicer.
Yep. I'm it's amazing, dude, because even like so I really like butter corn snakes, the caramel albino, not caramel albino, but caramel gene and the albino together make the butter.
Yep.
And as babies, they look ugly as crap.
Oh yeah.
It's just like a pale
wow,
yellow.
You got some butterscotch on you.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, cool. And then the thing hits like 18 inches.
I would say like 2 foot long, and they are like, boom.
Yeah, and like you get a nice big adult that's like just freaking glowing neon yellow, and you're like, what? What?
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy I kept that, but also, why did I have to go through 6 months of bullshit staring at your ugly ass for this? What?
Come on, it's the glow up, man.
Yeah, sure. For real. Dude, that's probably the only thing I dislike about carpet pythons.
Yep.
And like,
you can sell a 2 foot long one all day long because they're crazy yellow already. But you take that animal 8 months before then, and it's tough to sell it.
Dude, it was always the hardest thing. Like the first clutch of ocelot jags that I produced, as soon as they hatched, I was like, these are going to be smoke shows. And the only other people that appreciated it were, of course, the carpet people, because they're like, oh my god, those are going to look so great. Dude, trying to bring those to shows, people were like, why is it so much money? It's just brown. And you're like, oh my heart. And I'm like, look at the adult. And they're like, well, why doesn't the baby look like that? It's like, it's called an autogenic color change. For the purposes of camouflage. I'm sorry. For the purposes of camouflage, these snakes go through what's called an autogenic color change. And it's to protect them from being eaten by all the crazy predators in the outback. But they don't give a shit. They're like, it needs to look pretty now.
Right now.
You want my money now? I want that prettiness now. You know, and you're like, you motherfucker, so like I think I had one final baby, and it was like probably my lowest expression ocelot, but still a nice animal for like 8 or 9 months. And then it finally moved. And I was like, why? Like, I mean, cool, but shit. Like, this took so long, and like, I mean, I appreciated it, and honestly, it was going to be like, well, I mean, if I get stuck with another ocelot jag, oh, darn it.
Son of a sea biscuit.
Poop. But, they bought it, and they're like, oh my god, this looks so much better in person, and blah, 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 the color is coming out so much. And I'm like, yeah. I'm glad you've appreciated it too, because I've literally watched it go from ugly duckling to less ugly duckling. So, it's that's frustrating. But like the other side of that spectrum, that ocelot zebra jag that I have, he's kind of at that point where he's in that mid ground of like he's done the initial get out of the ugly duckling phase, but he's not 100% out of it. So like the head and the first like 4 inches of the body are fucking damn.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them are still kind of like that tannish, like this is okay, you know. But I'm like, this thing is gonna look silly at 3 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I just gotta get you to 3 feet, dude.
That's
gotta
all
get you
I
to
need.
3 feet. And because I see all the yellow in the head, and I'm like, oh my god, this snake is gonna be like electric, and I cannot wait for it. So I'm that's the hardest part about them, dude. Even Bredls, like, I mean, they're just red, but the change of red from when they're a hatchling, where they're just kind of like that really drab, rust, dull red, to the point when they're 3 feet and they've really hit that peak of color. You're like, oh my god, this thing is, this thing is crazy. And that's actually one of the things that piques my interest with the hypo gene in the Centralians. Is like right out of the egg, they're a lot brighter and cleaner compared to a normal Bredl's python. So, once they hit 3 feet, that glow is like, what? So I cannot wait to throw that into my stonewashed stuff, because I've got those little baby hypo G-stripe things. So
hell yeah.
Once those get up to size, I'm like, I will go Bredl's crazy. I already am a little Bredl's crazy. So I think I went from a pair to 7 in very fast amount of time. I have a problem, people. I have a problem. As Rob is to Borneos, I am to Morelia.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh boy, and it hurts so good.
It's just like so satisfying though. Like, I love my scrubs a ton, but if I don't ever breed scrubs, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. I love my scrubs. I just appreciate them as snakes.
For sure.
But my Borneos, it's like I feel like I can do something really cool breeding wise with them, and take them to an interesting place. And the stuff that I look at is not always the same thing that other people look at. Like, I was listening to Dan Magano on NPR, and he's talking about his side swipe projects, and he's like, I'm looking for those, like, the cleanest sides, like the most color that you can get. And he's looking at this thing, and then when he's talking about me about the super stripe stuff that I was looking at, I was looking at like a little bit of the neck patterning and some of the speckling and the different areas where the pattern shows up. And he's like, that's the stuff that I just like don't look at. And so there's always room there for someone to kind of work their way in and figure out or work their way towards a project if they're interested in it. So I think that that's like the part that really just catches my attention and is going to keep me pushing with doing Borneos more.
Yeah, the joys of polygenics. Yeah.
Ooh. I love polygenics. Dude, honestly, that's people complain that that's like the worst thing about Borneos, but I think that's the coolest thing about Borneos.
Yeah.
Because if you were selectively breeding for nice striped stuff on your red blood pythons, it's like, cool, I've got selectively striped stuff for my blood pythons.
Yeah.
But with Borneos, there's so many unique looks that come out of each clutch that you can have something that interests everyone.
Yeah.
Not just, okay, I bred a yellow belly to yellow belly, and I produce some yellow bellies and some ivories. It's like either you're into yellow bellies or you're not into yellow bellies. And if someone's not into yellow bellies, they're not going to be into your project.
Yeah.
But with Borneos, there's all different varying levels of gene expression in each of those animals. So if someone's into stuff that's speckly, you can have stuff that's speckly in the same clutch with stuff that's striped, in the same clutch with stuff that's reduced pattern. And it's just like, I think for me that's the best thing, because you can literally have something for everyone.
Yeah.
That's
I think that is super cool, man. That's because there's not too many species of snake where you get that variability.
Amazon tree boas.
Amazon tree boas for sure. I mean, even though it's not polygenics, you often end up doing that with corn snakes.
Yep.
Because they end up being het for a million
hets,
different things, and you're like, I should get snows and like albinos and aneries, and that should be all I get. And then you've got butters and motleys and this and blah blah blah, and you're like, how I only have one pair of these snakes. How do I have 18 different morphs?
Yeah.
And I think that's cool and annoying, but more so cool.
Yes.
Because then because you're gonna get the people that are like, oh, but I really want a pink one, and you're like, well, I got a pink one for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's super cool.
So before we wind things down, I want to shout out to Jessica Hernandez.
Yes.
For hooking us up with some Reptile Talk t-shirts. Hell yeah.
Yes.
I'm super pumped about them. We got a couple prototypes in. We are probably going to have some available. Yep. We're just going to be talking to her about getting some sizing and stuff. So keep an eye out for that because we'll have Reptile Talk t-shirts available here in the not so distant future.
Hell yeah.
I'm super pumped about it. And I will be looking forward to seeing them at Tinley if Tinley's still happening. Hopefully we'll see a couple of them walking around. I really need Tinley to happen so I don't lose my mind this year.
Yeah, seriously. So,
but big shout out to her, man. Yes. I appreciate that so much from the bottom of my heart.
Hell yeah.
We love that. And for everyone else, keep an eye out. We're going to have some more cool stuff coming in. So, Jeremy, people want to find out more about you. Where do they go?
You can go literally everywhere. So Facebook and Instagram at Brassman Reptiles, Twitter at Brassman Rep, and that's honestly it. So maybe not everywhere.
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube too at Brassman Reptiles. Donnie's working on a new video for me. He's told me he's getting some work in on that, so I'm excited for that. So go subscribe to my YouTube, please. I do cool videos of ball pythons. What about you, Rob? Where can people find you?
All right, so if you want to find out more about what I'm doing, or if you want to see any of the animals that I may or may not have for sale in the not so distant future here, if you're listening to this in 2020, in July of 2020, you can check out Rob is Creeping It Real on Instagram, Rob is Creeping on Twitter. I think my YouTube channel is Rob is Creeping It Real or Creeping It Real with Rob, one or the other. Check those out. I'm actually going to be doing a video on the marble to marble clutch, maybe combining that in a same video with the marble to granite striped head ultra, but I think that either tomorrow or Friday I'm going to be recording that and editing it and then posting it up. I'm going to try and do one video a week, just to try and do something different.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have been getting on me about doing more YouTube videos, so I'm going to try and do more YouTube videos.
Do it.
Visual stuff is always interesting to people, and I think that the YouTube thing is really going to help out with expressing to people the stuff that I'm looking at in my Borneos and what I think is cool about them, because over audio it's cool, but when you can actually see the traits that I'm talking about, it's a little more interesting.
100%. And then there'll be much more of you that are mad that you can't buy them because he's holding them back.
Yeah. There'll be some that are for sale. Okay, I sold one. Hey,
you sold one.
I did sell one.
Yes.
But I've also told people not to message me about them. So.
That's true. That is true. So that one person that didn't listen.
That's okay. They've been waiting. So. I didn't even talk about my carpet pythons. That's okay.
That's true. That's true. So as always, guys, don't forget you can also follow Reptile Talk on Instagram at reptile.talk. We post photo blasts from pretty much every guest that we've ever had on. And we will hopefully... we did it with Kevin when he came in with us. So hopefully what we can do is whenever we have an in-studio guest or when Rob and I are just doing episodes ourselves, we'll live stream it. We didn't live stream this one because whatever, but it's late.
Yes, it's late and I'm tired.
Yeah. But we will hopefully do that in the future so we can interact with you guys live or not, and you can just comment and get mad that we don't respond to your comments. Either way, it'll be a good time. So until next time, guys.
Keep it real.
See you later.